Robin's composing these like incredibly fucking challenging, complex musical pieces. The one great thing about aleatoric music is that you could just smash it all together and it sounds bad no matter what. If you hire people crazier than yourself, you seem like a very responsible director.
It's not that common to have the music written early on in the process, but from what I understand, you did, and your composer Robin.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't have the whole score. He wrote a few demos and
Right.
just a few demos, and so those were played among also with some Spotify playlists of a lot of other people's work.
Mhm.
Played that on set because for the Northman and Lighthouse Witch, we were like out in the middle of fucking nowhere, and so like the atmosphere of being on the side of a mountain with like the rain pissing in your face like does the trick, and you don't need music. But when you're shooting like 97% on a sound stage, like having music, and Damien also had some sound design he created early on,
Mhm.
but those also helped with the director's cut because by the time like Louise did um the assembly mostly with just sound design, very little music at all, uh
Mhm.
which was a really evocative way to like first understand the film. And then but then by like Robin did so much composition early on, like he did the first reel and most of the major set piece scenes for the director's cut. And then like and so as we were preparing for uh preview screenings, test screenings, like Neil Stemp, the music editor, and I were able to like pull stems from the few from all the stuff that Robin had done to and layer that into the temp stuff so that it all felt like a piece very early on, which was cool. I mean, the one great thing about aleatoric music is that you can just smash it all together and it sounds bad and no matter what. So it always, works.
Mhm. I know. Was that helpful, Louise? I mean, or is it would you cut with anything? And although the sound
No,
design, I mean, you could talk about that too. The sound design's very present, as is the music.
I mean, it's incredibly helpful to have the music early. And yeah, Damien did it cut us like gave us a sort of atmosphere type track, just as what do you call it, droning, sort of humming, sort of just
Mhm.
weird interior castle sound, which is good. But I can't cut without good sound. Like I have my assistants, do sound passes on scenes when I'm cutting a scene or a sequence, and then I have the assistants, put in spot sounds, whatever, doors, whatever, creaking, whatever you want to call it, and it just. But mostly, I mean, I think what I remember most about cutting uh, Nosferatu before we had all the music and everything was that sequence when he gets to the castle with the doors opening and we first see Orlok, and I cut that with a bunch of these. There's a sound designer called Alan Spillett who was David Lynch's sound guy who recorded a bunch of these acoustic, or not what do you call it, acoustic, sorry, analog sort of sound. I made this huge library of I think in Chicago in the 80s, there was lots of factories, and you would go to the factories at night and record the humming of the machinery and all this kind of stuff like that. None of it's digital, it's all sort of analog. So I've got a whole library of these sort of different pitches, hums and drones and, voices and stuff. And kind of I used different different tones to kind of compose a sort of a soundtrack, if you like, to that sequence, just to get us into the castle. I love doing that. I probably shouldn't spend as much time doing that stuff as I do, but it just helps so much with the atmosphere and.
Well, I mean, Lou could have been a sound designer or a music editor. Like she has a really good like understanding of that stuff, and it becomes really helpful too because a lot, Robin's composing these like incredibly fucking like challenging really really complex musical pieces, and you know, and Neil Stemp's the music editor is trying to like keep up with the edit, and sometimes, you know, like Lou needs to come in to like to do it to make sure that like it gets the story beats smack on whatever, you know, hits the story beats correctly, you know, basically, even if it's a little funky and then it needs to be cleaned up and or recomposed, like, you know, sometimes like Lou needs to be the one to do it.
I mean, I guess coming from low budget indie filmmaking, you know, where we all started off, but you know, as the picture editor, I just do that because I really enjoy doing it as well. But you know, as we've gone up in budget, then you know we get brilliant people like Neil to do the music editing. Robin obviously is composing while we're shooting, and Damien sound design. What are you laughing at?
We're all obsessive. Neil's very obsessive.
Yeah, it's true.
I met his wife for the first time, and she was like, "I'm glad that Neil's working with you. You two deserve each other."
Yeah, we're all, I mean, it's great. And we'll, you know, and Robin and I get on great, the composer, you know, we're all kind of friends at this point,
Yeah, but
and
none of
we'll
us are
help
that
each other.
easy, you know. And we're all kind of have our own difficult in our own unique way. I mean, Craig's definitely the easiest of us, but you know,
Sure.
Lou's got her thing. I have mine. Damien has his.
If
You know,
you
Robin has his.
if you hire people crazier than yourself, you seem like a very responsible director. That's
Yeah,
what I.
you're extremely diplomatic. You know, Jesus.
You
You know,
just, you
around
just get your
all that.
crazy inside, Rob, and then you throw it all over the screen every time you make a movie.